Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy ATF Cobra, and today I have a complete guide on how to dominate as the engineer class. Today I'm going to show you guys a loadout that really works for me, and it's going to help you guys, take advantage of actually, a lot of players that aren't too smart and aren't too successful, or aren't doing the right things, and Battlefield 3. So the first, we're taking a look at my loadout and what I usually go with. Look at these yellow gloves. I never even noticed that. But I usually run with the M4A1 in the engineer class, or I actually use the SCAR class for my long range engineers overall every range, and then sometimes I'll use the ACWR. So my setup for the ACWR is actually mostly red dot, foregrip, and flash suppressor. I know the foregrip does decrease the horizontal muzzle drift and giving, aim down sight accuracy is hit. But it really does work for this weapon. It feels like it works. So I just use it and I stick to it. And that's what works for me. And if not, then the MTAR is also an option as well. It's for closer range, tighter engagements, because it's not very good at long range. But when you use a flash suppressor with the MTAR, it's a little more manageable, and it's easier to control a little bit when you go for those medium range shots, or when your enemies are a little bit too far. But highly recommend also the pistol with the MTAR. Highly recommend you guys use the Magnum, because it'll help you with your backup weapon if you need to take out somebody from long range, because the MTAR can run out of ammo pretty quickly with the 900 rounds per minute. But like I said, overall the best weapon to use is most likely the M4A1. The fire rate is great, the ammo supply, everything is just great about this weapon, which makes it a very viable weapon, especially with the heavy barrel, which is going to give you a 1-point boost. So your minimum damage from about 17 meters and after is going to be still around 15 to 16, which is actually pretty good, and the actual muzzle velocity is going to be even higher with the heavy barrel as well. It's going to give you about 70 feet per second more than you would if you weren't using it, and that's what's really going to help you guys take down targets that are actually running around the map. It's going to make you extremely effective, especially with the 800 rounds per minute fire rate. M4A1 is best used for every engagement. It can be used for long range, medium range, and even close range. The hip fire is the only thing that you might have to worry about because of the heavy barrel that you're using. Other than that, here's my regular setup. I always use small unless there's a chopper that's really annoying. I most definitely will switch to a stinger, and actually I will use the specialization, the actual explosive specialization, which is right here, which actually it does give you double, or actually how much, I think it does give you about double or even a little bit more explosives than you would naturally get with each and actually weapon. Let's take a look right here. We'll see with rockets I spawn, or with stingers I spawn with 5, and that's pretty, that will help me take down at least one chopper, even if he keeps flaring or ECMing. It's definitely going to help me take out actually one chopper. Now if there's 2 choppers, or if your enemy team does grab 2 choppers, you're definitely going to need a whole team, so you're going to need to communicate with your team actually to help take down that chopper. Now also, when you're using the small, I think you get about 6 or 7 rounds as well when you're using the explosive, the squad explosives. It gives this to all your teammates as well. If you guys don't already know, it gives you 7. Yes, I thought it was 6, but it does give you 7, which is really great. Even if you want to go for those random shots to take out those choppers, because it is a one-hit kill, and it'll actually help you take out tanks as well. Now the other thing that I don't use, or I haven't been using too much, is the javelin, because it does take too much time to lock on, and if you're locking onto a tank and he knows exactly where you are, more than likely he's gonna be able to kill you pretty quickly, or he's gonna be able to spot you before you can actually get that lock on. If you're far enough away that you could actually get off a shot on him, it's gonna land 50 damage, which is gonna be great. As you guys can see, I think you get 2 shots, and all it does with the squad explosive is just gives you a little bit. It just gives you one more actual shot to fire, which is actually definitely more than enough, especially with the damage that it does inflict. 50 damage points per hit. Now that's wherever you hit. I don't think you can get a one-hit kill unless it hits it from behind for some strange reason, but that's definitely gonna help you guys out as well. Also, more than likely, I go with the repair tool. Sometimes I'll use mines if I'm in a smaller map like Scene Crossing or something a little bit closer where tanks are forced around narrow quarters. That's when I'll use mines. And squad explosives, you'll get extra mines as well. And EOD bot I rarely use. I think it's useless to me in my personal opinion. People have been able to arm MCons and stuff like that, but I don't think it even gets close enough. Unless you're really sneaky and you can get behind the enemy or somebody or players that aren't too smart, then you get that actual MCon plant. Now, as far as the engineer class, this is probably the best setup. I mean, next to before patch, before a lot of these weapons were patched, I was actually using the A91, which actually should be here, right here. Yep, A91, and I was using this with the foregrip and the laser sight. Now, post patch, it just feels like this weapon can't hit anything. It just feels, to me personally, it feels like the accuracy was reduced. I'm not too sure if that was actually noted in DICE or if DICE did actually note that, but it just feels a little bit inaccurate. I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. You know, it's, you know, from standing from about right here. Let's take a couple shots. And if you guys seen the bullet spread, or if you're looking at the bullet spread, look how much it freaking goes everywhere. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I know this weapon was pretty accurate before, but it went extremely left. That's full auto. It went extremely left, and then it goes up and then to the right. Like, that's really gonna kill a lot of players, especially if you're using this weapon before. I'm not too sure if it was touched in a patch or if it's just how it is actually, and the destruction is pretty crisp in this map as well. Yeah, engineer class, I'm using the engineer class on this close range map. But this is just to give you guys a closer look at each weapon, and you know, not to have to run around to each place to get a shot off or two. But definitely they did change this weapon. This was actually my favorite weapon that I was using before I switched back to the M4A1, which actually really did help me out a lot. You know, in overall every situation. Now, the A91 used to be really deadly with the silencer. I mean, I should get more gameplay of it, or should actually record some gameplay of it, but I'm not too sure if it would, you know, be that gun that it used to. I mean, rarely do I see anybody use the A91 now, and I think it might be because it's overlooked, and G36C is not bad as well. Now, this is actually the best actual loadout right here for long range. If you want to go extremely long range, your best bet is to go with the AKS-74U with the heavy barrel, no foregrip, because it's really gonna hurt this gun. Cobra sight, of course, I recommend. It's clear, and it allows you to actually see your enemy a little bit clearer. And actually, you guys will see I have 0 stars. It's because I don't use it on the PC. I mean, on Xbox, I use it all the time. I probably have a lot more stars than on Xbox than I do PC. But yeah, this is your best bet with the heavy barrel. Actual combination, no foregrip. Remember, with the AKS-74U, you're going to be extremely deadly at long range. The only thing you guys have to worry about, look at the fire rate, 650 rounds per minute, and it says medium for range, but when you slap on the heavy barrel, it's gonna take you a lot longer ranges, and it does have very low recoil, so it makes it easier to actually hit. G53 I really don't use too much. I used to use it, but it just doesn't feel like it packs a punch, you know, at medium ranges. But it's still overall a good gun to use. QBZ, I unlocked it, and on Xbox I use this gun quite a bit. It was not bad, but I just don't, you know, it doesn't feel like it. Again, it doesn't have punch as well. ACWR, favorite actual carbine right now next to the M4A1. It feels like and acts like the M4A1, but lower, a little bit lower magazine. It's 27 rounds, and it does have a lot more spread than the M4A1. Also, it does have 850 rounds per minute fire rate, but the damage is actually pretty low for this gun. But it's not too bad. It's pretty good, you know, if you're on that rushing type, or if you're in a rushing class and you like to use it. Like I said, MTAR is mostly for actually close range, medium range. Don't suggest anything other than that. Shotguns I really do use actually. Spaz for a engineer class would be pretty great. Another gun, oh yes, I forgot to touch on, is the UMP-45, which I love using this gun. I used to love it, especially before actually they patched it, which they did patch it a couple times, because in the beta actually for Battlefield 3, The first beta, when the beta came out actually to the public, not the alpha beta, but the public beta, the UMP was a monster. It was a serious monster. Look at this, virtually no recoil, and imagine attacking your targets from that range. I think what they most likely did was just decrease the spread of the, or increase the spread of this gun to make it a little bit less accurate. But basically, you have no recoil. It's so easy to hold down the trigger and fire automatically, and that's what a lot of people were doing with this gun, and that's why I think personally DICE decided to nerf it to oblivion, and then they brought it back, and then they nerfed it again, which kind of made no sense at all. But that's, you know, how DICE is, and that's how DICE does their weapon. And I think that's just about it for the actual engineer class, the setup. Oh yes, the setup that I highly recommend that you guys use, like I said, is the M4A1 and small or RPG, and the squad explosive is actually going to help you. It's going to give you a little bit more explosives. UMP right now is not a long range attack for the carbine class, or the, actually, is it carbine? I believe it's a submachine gun, but it's not something you want to use for long range. It says short here with 600 rounds per minute, but the .45 ACP rounds, they pack a punch. Those are big rounds, you know, especially for this gun. So that's why I think it should have had a higher damage for the actual class, and you know, for the gun. But you know how DICE sometimes they, you know, change things around. It did have that high damage, but you know, like I said, it was nerfed. But this is probably your best class right here. Small Magnum, always recommend Magnum if you're a pretty good shot, and if not, Glock 18 suppressed is your best bet, because you could run around and actually take out quite a few enemies, and you want to stay suppressed. If you run out of your ammo for your actual primary weapon, and you have to switch to your Glock, then I recommend running around with the Glock silenced and not just the Glock, because you're gonna stay off the radar, you know, every time you get a kill, and it's gonna keep you alive. So then you can pick up more enemy equipment, and it's actually gonna help you tear up some enemies as well. Also, you guys can use let's see, I believe squad suppression. Even though suppression has been nerfed down to some point, it still does take you out, and especially for some weapons that you use, it does take you actually a lot longer to actually recover. That's the only thing that DICE did leave. Like you'll get that extra recovery. You'll recover faster from suppression when you're actually using this. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but it is actually you know, that's what I actually noticed when I'm using the squad suppression. But I only use squad suppression as if I'm playing a team deathmatch or something where I don't need anything else, because when you're playing team deathmatch, the only thing other than, you know, squad suppression to use is just squad ammo, and that's about it, because that's gonna help you actually stay alive longer, because you're gonna have more rounds, you know, if you're going on kill streaks, or if you're going you know, if you're tackling more than one enemy. But that is your complete guide on you know, actually taking on the engineer class, and which weapons to use. Like I said, guys, it's the M4A1, or actually the ACWR. Those are the two weapons I highly recommend that you guys use, and the AKS-74U is your long range actual, yeah, so it's gonna be your long range actual setup. Hope you guys did enjoy this little class guide for you guys. Been your boy ETF Cobra. Peace.